Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Stargrinding with Remblob. It's how long has it been? It hasn't been too long, I think, since the last one, but this one, this is what I'm doing right now is kind of just a test run of a Stargrinding video today because I don't know if I'm actually going to be able to record this effectively, and you'll see what I mean if one, I do upload this, and two, when I get to the meat of what I'm going to talk about today. But basically, last episode was a nice little episode about how I'm like happy. I'm finally starting to be happy in life, and how I'm going to start like hard like self-improvement, but not in the TikTok, Instagram Reels type way, but in like an actual way that like fulfills me as a person and stuff. Like that's what I talked about today, or last week, or like whenever I recorded last. This past week has been really bad, like insanely bad. Like it's gone so bad that it would be funny if it wasn't like so serious in like the reason why it's been bad. But yeah, even before like this weekend, I was just kind of like being lazy and like immediately not doing what I talked about doing. And I think that's because like I haven't really been properly taking the time to like rest. I've been more just like I've been ironically trying to kind of do the TikTok, Instagram reel grinding like thing, and like super productivity and everything, but that's just how you get burnt out. And I was kind of feeling that earlier, but like I was getting over it. I was like, okay, it's a rough spot, which is fine. We're all gonna have rough spots, but I'm gonna get through this, and I'm gonna lock in again and start doing well. And then you probably noticed today I might be a little bit lower energy today. I might be a little bit less enthusiastic today. And that's because on Friday I got the news that my grandpa doesn't have that much time to live left. Cause dude, the drop with me saying that is crazy. But yeah, I mean, I've talked about my relatives dying before, but in that case it was more like not that I didn't care. That's a little bit callous, and it's a little bit like misrepresentative of what what my thoughts actually were, but it's basically just like a relative died, and like I wasn't super close with them, but like like I've visited them and I've like had a good time visiting them and like everything, but it's just like I wasn't really that close with, it was my grandma on my dad's side. I wasn't really that close with her or like that side of the family. One, because we're separated by location, and which is rough to make a connection. And yeah, we just didn't see him as much, so like I wasn't like super devastated or anything, you know. And it was the same with my great grandma too, because she lived in another country. She lived in Canada, so like very limited visits, but like she was a great person, like everything. And same with my grandma on my dad's side too. It's just like you don't really have the opportunity to like really, you don't have the opportunity to really build a close connection with them unless you like talk to them on the phone a lot or like something like that. But this time, it'll be like the first family death that's like really, that I'm like really emotionally devastated by, basically, because like my grandparents on my mom's side, they basically also raised me. Like there was a point in like elementary and middle school where I would just see them every day. Like they would just pick me up from school. They would like give me and my brother and I snacks and stuff, and like just like ask us how our days were going, and like just like those things. And like we'd see them all the time just to have dinner with them, and like where they're living now, like they're literally like a 10-minute walk from my house back home. So whenever I was on break, like summer or winter break, I would like visit them pretty often and talk to them pretty often. So yeah, on Friday I got the news that basically he has leukemia, and he's had it for a long time, but he's always gotten treatment for it. And like there have been like periods in the past where he's had to be in the hospital for a little bit because of like blood work and like blood transfusions and stuff, because leukemia is like basically blood cancer, to my like very basic understanding of it. And at this point, probably he's just gotten like old, so he just like stopped getting better from the treatment that he was receiving, basically. And so his doctor decided to just stop, and he's not getting treatment anymore, and he's basically like in the last little part, in the last little time of his life, basically. And like I don't know how much time he's gonna have. Thankfully, I will be able to visit him because I booked my parents, my mom booked a flight home next week, so I'm gonna be like home for a week next week, so I'm gonna be able to see him probably for like the last time ever. And I'm gonna see my grandma as well, obviously, and it'll be nice to actually have that, because I was initially pretty concerned that I wouldn't even be able to have that, and that he would just die basically without me ever seeing him. With like the last time of me seeing him being in like January, and thankfully, barring something horrible happening, I'll get to see him at least one more time. But yeah, I haven't been doing the best, really. I've just kind of been playing games all day, and academics has taken a little bit of a backseat recently, which it's like I'm gonna fall behind, and I'm gonna like be behind for a little while, especially because like ideally I want to like get all the work that I need to get done either before I go back home or while I'm home, but like there's probably no way that's gonna happen realistically. But like I've asked for extensions for like all my classes and all my homework basically, and I've told like my boss that I'm not gonna be here for the whole of next week and everything, and just that I just have to tank, like I'll probably just have to tank a few assignments and like miss out on like a lot of money from working. I do have 6 hours, so I'll probably use them here, but still, it's like I don't know if I have enough to fully cover how long I'll be gone, but we'll see. But like at the same time, it's like when something like this happens, it's like fuck school, fuck work, like family is the most important thing right now. And yeah, it just it sucks, man. Like you always hear the stuff about, oh, like hug your mom, hug your grandparents and everything, and like it's really, I mean, it's easy to agree with that, and like even act on it a little bit, but like you don't really feel the meaning of what, and like the emotions of what that brings, what that sentence conveys, until you have something like this happen. And it's just like, it's just one of those hard life lessons that you gotta learn. It's like you can know like intellectually that we're all gonna die someday, and like that we're all just like dust and dirt and carbon and oxygen, but like to actually learn, like fully learn what that means emotionally is a lot different. And it's hard. It's hard. I've not been well, but at the same time, that's fine. Like I'm not gonna start being hard on myself or anything. Like it's more just like I'm not gonna make it any harder for myself. Like I'm not gonna feel worthless because I'm like not in a good mental state to do homework or like work at my job. But that doesn't mean that it's gonna be easy for me, you know? Like today, I thought I was like at a point where like I had thought about it enough and like that I would be fine working, but like I went to work today. It was pretty bad. I felt pretty awful the entire time, and it didn't help that like some of the louder coworkers that I have were working today, and so like I just had a massive headache. But the main thing was just I just did not feel good at all, and like I still worked like a shift, but I did ask to leave early. And I think like part of why I felt so bad, besides like the obvious reason, but I think I hadn't really been properly processing it. Like I had like the period where I was like really sad, and like I probably still haven't accepted it yet, but it's mainly just I hadn't really talked about it at all, like with anybody except like my mom and like my grandma, I guess. And even then it was just like brief conversations, so like I didn't really have any like emotional processing time that wasn't just me by myself, you know? Like I hadn't even said out loud what was happening, you know? But one thing that I did realize from going to work is like my boss came over and was like, "Are you okay?" Like, because he saw that I had like submitted like a basically how it works for me is when you know you're gonna be gone from work, then you put your shift on like a bulletin board, basically like a virtual bulletin board where you say that you're gonna drop the shift because of whatever reason. And I said like I had put like I'm having like a family emergency, and I took like the whole week off. So my boss came over to me and was like, "Is everything all right?" And it was kind of like that's the stereotype thing where you're just having a really bad day and like you're just like keeping it all inside, and then when someone asks if you're okay, then that's when you like break. It wasn't exactly that, but like it was kind of a mini version. Like I didn't have a breakdown or anything. Not that if I had, it would have been it would not have been warranted, but saying it out loud and like actually explaining what was going on to someone while it felt really bad to actually say it, because it was kind of like I was accepting it almost, and like it wasn't something that I was kind of just like subtly denying the reality of, because now I have to like actually face it and say it aloud. And it made me feel not very good, but at the same time it was nice to actually tell someone about it. So that's kind of what I'm doing here, right? I'm not telling anybody individually, because the worst, it's probably not the worst part of something like this happening, but like it just sucks to have to tell people, because it's like I don't want to make someone else burdened with my like trauma, basically. But like at the same time, when I told him what was going on, and he was like, oh my god, like I'm so sorry about that and everything, it does feel good. It does feel good to like it sounds fucked up, but it's a fucked up situation. But it kind of feels good to have other people share in your like crippling despair, basically. And like having something like this where I can just talk about it and like process everything out loud it's good, and I think it's healthy. Just why I'm doing it, even though I might not even post it. It's good. I think it's just good for me, because it feels bad to say at first, because it feels like you're ripping your heart open, but at the same time it's like being vulnerable with somebody, basically, about anything. And to not have to like bear with this crippling facet of reality alone it's nice. It's nice to not be alone in suffering. Who knew, right? And like when I go back home, I'll have plenty of time to like talk with other family and everything about everything. So it'll be nice to come back home, and hopefully by the time I get back I'll have fully processed and like accepted everything that's going on, and then I'll be able to go back to being like normal. I'll go back to feeling normal. But like I've just been really thinking and like revisiting new things, because like, dude, when something like this happens, everything is like recontextualized almost, like music that you listen to, and like games that you play are just like completely different now, and you see them in a like completely different light. Because like before I even got the news that my grandpa was gonna die, I started just a new playthrough of Celeste, like a casual playthrough of Celeste where I actually like look at the story and stuff, and it made me realize, like, it made me appreciate the game a lot more, cause especially Farewell, cause I'd beaten like the main game, but like after like I completed Farewell after I got the news, and that Farewell just like hits completely different now, and like, because obviously Farewell is about the grandma spoilers, I guess. But Farewell is about the grandma character that you meet in the beginning of the game. It's about her dying and Madeline like grieving. And like her processing it and everything. So it was it was very fitting. It's very apt. And it was good. Like it and like it was really good that I did that. Like it was really good that I started that playthrough, that casual playthrough, because it helped, and it also made me realize how fucking good base Celeste is. Like I hadn't played it in a while, and like since I last played like through the story of Celeste, I had played like Outer Wilds and Elden Ring and stuff, which didn't like convince me that they're better than Celeste or anything, because I still considered Celeste to be my favorite game. But it was a tie before with Outer Wilds, and now it is no longer a tie. I think Celeste is pretty firmly number one, my number one favorite game of all time. Again. Because like the story is just so good. It's not like mind-blowing or anything, like it doesn't subvert expectations, but it's just like really emotionally like a really good story. And it hits harder the older I get. Like the older I get, the more Madeline and Theo's conversation at the beginning of chapter 6 hits. It's the harder farewell hits. It's the harder, like, the reconciliation between Madeline and the goth part of her. Like, it's just such a good game, man. And it's helped me in this unfortunate life situation as well. But yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at right now. I guess I did do other stuff that wasn't just like wallow in despair. On Saturday, I watched this was also like strangely a really good thing for me. But on Saturday I watched a movie. My coworker told me that there was like a Hatsune Miku movie that was gonna come out, and it's based on like Project Sekai, like the mobile game. But yeah, there's a Hatsune Miku movie that's kind of follows the story of the Project Sekai game. And so he told me when he was gonna go see it, and at the time I was like, I might be there, I don't know, but just because I wanted something to do, basically, I just was like, why not? I'll see it. I'm in a bit of a bad spot right now, so maybe seeing it will be good for me. And it was. It wasn't even like, okay, I'm not gonna say it was a bad movie, but it wasn't like insanely good or anything. Like I gave it a 6 on my anime list, which is like, it was enjoyable. It was a decent movie, but it wasn't like anything like anything remarkable about it, really. But yeah, it was just really fun, and then like talking about it with him after, I had that's a good moment where we showed up separately, and I had only said to the coworker that I wouldn't even say I saw it with him. I was just like, I saw the same movie at the same time, you know? Like, we didn't go together or anything. I only said, there's a chance that I'll be there. But yeah, it was nice to just have like a kind of dumb fun thing that I did. And suddenly just show up as he like tap him on his shoulder as he was leaving and be like, hi. That was fun. But yeah, I saw the Hatsune Miku movie. I wouldn't really recommend it if you haven't played the game, because I was just kind of confused for a lot of it. Because they have like the in-universe world where where like everyone has their own Miku and everything, and it was just kind of they treated some things as normal that I was like, huh? But because it's part of like the world of the game, it would make sense if I had played the game. But yeah, so it was fine. It was a good move. It was fine. It was a good experience. I had fun. I had fun talking with my coworker afterwards. It was just like a nice thing that I did, and it kind of helped me like forget about my life for a little bit. And even though it wasn't like a life-changing experience, it was good. It was good to like get out of my house and get out of my head, basically. So I've also picked up a new game recently called Blueprints. It's actually a new game that like just came out, and it's described as like a puzzle roguelike game where you like solve a mystery, and it's kind of like it's like a house building roguelike is the best way I can describe it. It's a very unique game, so it's hard to describe. And because of some circumstances, I'm not very good with words right now, but yeah, I've been really enjoying it. I saw that on Steam that it has that thing where it's like games similar to this game that you like, and one of the games was Outer Wilds. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm getting it. And it's really good. I love the sense of discovery in games, and like I love seeing like your view of a game like expand to like enormous proportions. That's always really fun. I like having my mind blown, and it's blown my mind a couple times. But yeah, that's basically what I've been up to. I haven't been up to much, as you could maybe tell. But yeah. Pretty awful time in my life. But I've learned a lot about how like like you hear about how the grieving process is and everything, and it's really it's really interesting to like actually go through it yourself, because like I've gotten like the dissociation and like the denial and like the confusion and like the how your brain just doesn't really compute when something like this happens. So that's been a really interesting experience, and I've kind of learned what my coping mechanisms are. Like, one of them is definitely humor and like just like making jokes and laughing, and another one is playing video games. So like nothing too surprising here, but Yeah, sometimes when you're going through something like really hard, all you can really do is laugh. And not necessarily about like the actual thing that's happening, but like at work today, at work today, like maybe 5 minutes after I started, and I was already feeling pretty bad at that point. Another One Bites the Dust started playing on the radio, on the work radio station, and I was just like, come on, man. It's just like that kind of thing where because it's so awful and so sad and everything, all you can really do is like cry or laugh about it, and my brain's chosen laugh a lot of the time, and it's chosen cry too. I'm not like completely bottling everything up inside, but yeah. if if something like that, I it sounds pretty awful, but like I feel awful. So like if you're trying to make me feel bad about laughing about Another One Bites the Dust playing on the radio at work, like screw off, you know. It's my grandpa that's gonna fucking die. It's not yours. So yeah, that's basically where I'm at. I think something that's also really interesting is how like how when this is gonna sound so stupid, but it's real. It's the how I felt when Fauna graduated from Hololive was like a mini version of how I feel right now, because it's all like being sad and like just being bummed out basically, and like I guess I didn't really have the dissociation thing where it's like, no, she can't be graduating. Like I didn't have that, but like it's like similar overall emotions, but they're just amped up obviously for this one. But yeah, I think it's really interesting to observe people, because two more big graduations from Hololive happened recently, and or I guess they're announcements, they're graduation announcements basically. But yeah, they've really shaken up the Hololive community, and especially the big one being Gargura, the biggest. I don't know if she's the necessarily the biggest VTuber in the world anymore, because Iron Mouse exists, but she's the biggest one on YouTube for sure. And so just seeing everyone like grieve her leaving, it's really interesting because it's actually kind of similar to how I feel right now. It feels dumb to compare something so serious to something. It's not like completely trivial, because like streamers and like entertainers can get you through tough times in your life, which is what's happening right now. But to compare like the death of a relative to someone you don't know quitting streaming is it just feels weird, and that's kind of funny to me. It's not that deep, but yeah, it is really interesting to see how I process everything and how it was similar to how I felt about when my favorite streamer retired. But yeah, that's basically it. I would say I'm sorry that this episode is so sad, but like, what is it gonna be not sad? Like, I've just been reflecting on everything and like how my grandpa has like shaped my life, and like how his humor like shaped my sense of humor, and like how he basically raised me and everything. And it's made me sad, but it's also like it's nice to like think of the ways that he's positively impacted my life. Like something I'll never forget. One of the funniest things that has ever been said to me. It is kind of morbid, especially because now he's about to not be alive anymore. He's about to not be on Earth anymore. But like one of the funniest things that he's ever said to me is like him and my grandma were going to a funeral for like a friend of theirs from like the building that they lived in. Like one of their neighbors like died, and they're having a funeral. I'll never forget my grandpa. While my grandpa's like explaining this to me, my grandpa just rolls up and says, "Yeah, we're gonna look at her." We're gonna look at her corpse. Like, it's just like that. Sometimes he just says like things that are just so out of pocket. And like I'm 12 or whatever, like I'm pretty young, so it's just like it's just like an insane thing to say. It's just an insane thing to say that yeah, we're gonna look at her corpse, and it's just like it's just like little things like that kind of you don't really expect it to, but it kind of like shapes your whole life. Like it shapes your sense of humor, and like it's I've just been thinking a lot about him and like how he's shaped my life and everything, and it's sad, but it's also nice to kind of reflect on everything and how I've become a better person because of him and everything. And I think it's always going to be sad, but it's comforting to know that he's had such a good, he's left such a good impression on me and shaped me as a person. And boom, the level uses Reflections by Creo as the song. A fitting point to end off on. But yeah, that's basically it. I do feel better. I thought there was a chance that I wouldn't be able to get through this one. But yeah, it's like when I talked about it with my boss, and like when I talked about it with my other boss, because like another one like came in and like asked me what was going on, and it's scary, it sucks, but it's good to talk about it, and it's good for processing it. And I think whether or not regardless of how I process everything and go through this journey, I guess you could call it, I'm still gonna be alive next year, but in 5 years I'm still gonna be doing shit. So it's good to be healthy about it now, so that I'm not this sad for a year or 5 years or whatever. So if you listen to this all the way through, thanks for lending me your ear. This is not the last Stargrinding I'll make of it. I'll probably make one for like when stuff down the road happens. But yeah, for now, thanks for listening. Yeah. Wish me well. And I hope that you have a better morning, afternoon, and evening than I have been having lately. And I'll see you on the next one.